And welcome to the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Bismarck Bobcats getting set for a home weekend with the Aberdeen Wings. We are live at the Tap-In Tavern in Bismarck, where you will hear from Layne Sedevie, Hunter Laslo, Hunter Garvey, and Julian Beaumont. It's our first show ever with two Hunters, I think, maybe in Bobcat history. Probably not. Layne Sedevie joining us, a Bobcats head coach. I know last week you had to miss because of coaching obligations. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Happy almost December.
It feels like it. It's cold.
It's felt like it for about 2 months.
Come on. You get one snowstorm and you think it is cold?
I guess. So final day of November. I take it you went in on No Shave November. You've got all the facial hair in the world. December 1st, are we going to see it gone tomorrow?
Yep.
What's it going to be replaced with, a mohawk again? Or you always have something new, a new wrinkle.
I think just clean shaven. I think it's time to change things up and get a little different mojo, you know what I'm saying?
Are you getting to the point where, like I am right now, the hair of your mustache is all up in your lip, and when you close your mouth, you kind of feel it?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I have a lot of respect for men that wear legit mustaches because it's a mess. I mean, I tried to eat chicken wings the other night, and I think I had more sauce in my mustache than I did actually in my mouth. I swear I was tasting chicken wings for 4 hours later. I mean, it's like, I don't know. My dad has rocked one his whole life, and I'm getting close to 40, but I just don't think it's in the repertoire yet. It's a rare occasion kind of deal for me so far.
Well, you also can't dry it off either when you get something in it.
Well, and the worst was when I was sick and you blow your nose and it's like half of it goes in your mustache and you're trying to clean it out for feel like 30 minutes. That wasn't the best experience, but yeah, we're through November and on to December. So looking forward to no mustache, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of am too. Although I've gotten compliments, I've gotten mixed messages. I'm hoping that clean-shaven me is just okay with everything else. So Bobcats and the Aberdeen Wings facing off December 2nd and 3rd. That's Friday, Saturday. Both games here at the VFW Sports Center in Bismarck. It's the only time so far that the Wings have come to town since the preseason when they came here for a couple games, exhibition games, but these ones actually count. A lot of hockey to talk about, and we'll start on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. 8-1. Bobcats with an historic win over Minot. They've not beaten the Toros by that margin, 7 or more goals, since the second season of Toro hockey in 2012-13. They do it with 4 goals before the Toros get their first shot in the first period and douse them 8-1. Then a couple games that you feel, and we both agree on this, you should have gotten points that you didn't get any points. 5-2 loss in Minot, 2 empty netters, go from 3-2 to 5-2. Then a 4-2 loss in Aberdeen, also an empty net goal. So really, a pair of 1-goal losses before empty nets on the road in Minot and Aberdeen, playing a 3-4, and really outdueling and outworking your opponent in all 3 games of those series. And yet, out of 6 possible points, we only end up with 2.
Yeah, I mean, I thought our effort was really good, and I thought, you kind of always get worried when you score 8 in a game if you used them all up, but, I can't really say one way or the other. I liked our habits and the way we worked. I feel like, I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10 because it probably has to be 8 times out of 10 because I feel like if we would have played that way, we're winning those games or getting points in those games. But, a couple costly mistakes. I mean, at one point we're out shooting Minot. I think it was 24-12 or 27-12, and we're losing 3-1. Now, obviously, the 5-on-3 is a tough one, and it was a great shot. But, I think it's felt like we played really well. I think we had like 73 shot attempts, somewhere around there with close to 50 shots on net against Minot. I know their scorekeeper was different, but Instat was somewhere with like 53 to 28 or something like that in their building. It's not the telltale sign, but I mean, it's one of those things where you go back and you look at the loss in our building. 3-4 weeks ago, and it's one that really stings. To me, whether we're on the road or we're at home, it's not that you're okay with losing, but you're okay with the effort, because that's the main thing, and you hope that the results will come down the line here, and I guess real time you hope they happen this weekend. But I think our effort was really good. I thought our execution was good. To me, just a couple big mistakes on our PK in Minot, and then our power play slips up against Aberdeen. So I felt like 5-on-5 throughout the whole 3 games. I thought we were really the better hockey team.
You hear this all the time in baseball with doubleheaders day-night. Your team scores 10 runs in the first game. You're thinking, all right, they're getting shut out in game 2. Does that actually happen where it's beyond a phenomenon, where you use up all your goals and the scoring touch goes away the next night?
I mean, I don't know. We won 2 games, a week apart, put up 16. So I don't know. I will say the times that I've been a part of this, usually when there's a lopsided score the next night, it's either, not saying you don't win, but it's really close. And I think that's just, I would say that's probably more of the norm. We switch buildings. They're playing in front of their fans, that sort of stuff. But again, I thought we outplayed them. I thought we played better, and just don't get the result that we're looking for. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times when you see lopsided, and sometimes when you see lopsided, it flips. But a lot of times after a lopsided score, I feel like it's a close game after that.
Well, the effort was there all 3 nights, and it's not like you played necessarily that much better on Wednesday as opposed to Friday or Saturday. The goals just happened. The pucks just went in the back of the net. Does the low shooting percentage concern you at all?
I don't know. I mean, I like our, to me, I guess when you look at, especially Friday, I mean, Saturday, I thought we had good chances. We were around the net. Even Cal's goal that he scored is a second effort. It's, Evan Hunter had one right on his tape, a wide open net, and lost it to tie the game, I think, with around 3 minutes to go. Felt like we had a lot of play in the interior of the ice, and that's, to me, I don't care so much about the shooting percentage. I care about getting to the net in those second, third effort. That's how you're going to score goals. Against Minot, I felt like if we lacked one thing, I felt like it was our ability to get to the interior of the ice and find those rebounds, because they were laying all over. And that was the one thing I wish we would have done better. I mean, we put a lot of pucks on net, but to me, we got to get to the paint and, find those rebounds. I thought, Wednesdays, you can say what it is, but we probably scored every way possible. Power plays, we scored shorthanded, but, you're going to have those nights where there's a lot of flow, and Wednesday was one of those nights where, let's face it, when things are good, things are really good. When things are bad, they're usually really bad. So, to me, when you have those maybe those even keel nights where not everything's going right, not everything's going bad, we got to find a way to get those greasy goals and get into the interior of the ice.
Well, you had 3 goals of your 8 on Wednesday of shooting the pucks low off the pads for rebounds. That can't happen every night because goalies will see it.
Well, I mean, it can, because it's the hardest thing to control for a goaltender. If you keep it away from his stick, I mean, I go back to Game 7, LA Kings, Martinez. How's he score the game winner? Pass off pad. And I played for coaches, and being the position that I played, if you can place that puck into that, basically that 45 of that toe where that pad is, that rebound's coming out no matter what. And it's, like I said, we went over film from Wednesday's game, and Newey's shot is the most harmless shot in the game. But it's right on his tape, and it's a wide open net. I had played for so many coaches that always said, make their goaltender our best passer. And in that instance, that's exactly what he did, because everybody in the building knows that goaltender is going to stop that first shot. I mean, it's a harmless shot, but he puts it in a bad area because he can't control the rebound, ends up in the back of the net. And he has no chance on the rebound. So I would like to see our guys do more of that. I think it's an art. I think you see it at high levels, even on 2-on-1s, where they're probably not going to beat the goaltender. They're smart enough to put it in an area where it goes right to the guy going to the net for a wide open net and a tap-in rebound. I feel like a lot of times when we put pucks on net, we're putting it in areas where he can control it or shut it down. And to me, that was just the perfect play, because it was harmless until it was in the back of the net.
Is it hard to beat a defense that understands that and sees that your team is doing it?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily I don't know if you can really. I mean, defending it. When you watch the goal against Minot, I mean, Pelch goes back door. 4 guys are staring at the puck carrier. So to me, it's part of obviously recognition. But again, if you put that puck in the right area on the goaltender, it's just extremely hard to defend. And I think that's, my coach at college always wanted guys to shoot from bad angles. Well, put it in his feet from a bad angle because it means a goaltender, you cannot control that rebound. And a lot of times, you're almost in a especially now with the RVH and the way they teach goaltending, you're in almost like it's the post play and goal line play is like a defense mechanism. So you're blocking, you're not making saves, and a lot of times that puts pucks right back out to the slot.
Okay, what is RVH?
So it's the post play when they go down on one leg. I mean, you'll see it from bad angles. I personally can't stand it. I don't think I would ever teach it unless I was probably teaching Andrei Vasilevsky, goaltenders that are 6'4", freak athletes, can cover a lot of the net. But essentially, to me, when you see, if you see, Garves do it or Lennard's, now they're different, right? So one's 6'2", one's 6 foot, but they make themselves so small. And the part I don't like about it is I feel like goaltending's changed as to where, like I said, they're putting themselves almost in like a defensive mode where they're just letting pucks hit them. And when I played, you're making saves, you're using your hands, you're using your feet, and I just don't like how small. And to me, we're teaching young kids that maybe you're not even going to be 6 foot to make themselves small. Well, the higher you go up, the more you're going to get picked apart.
One-time Billings Bull, Layne Sedevie joining us, Bobcats head coach. Bismarck and Aberdeen getting set for 2 games. Friday, Saturday, 7:15 in Bismarck. BismarckBobcats.com for tickets. We expect good crowds, if not sellout crowds, so don't wait. Get your tickets right now for all Bobcat games. We have 4 home games in the month of December, by the way, including 2 this weekend. Teddy Bear Toss on the 17th. That's a Saturday versus Minot. Then the Minot New Year's Eve game as well. Cole Moore for Aberdeen is 6'5". He's a big guy, more tall than wide. And Hunter Laslo told me during the game and in intermission, you want to get him moving. You want to get him going from side to side. He might be slow there. How do you deal with a big goalie?
Well, that's just it. I mean, I think you want to get to rebounds and you want to put it in his feet and you want to try and get him stretched out if you can. I mean, he might be good side to side, but usually their recoveries are just not as good. I mean, it's, I think that's why big guys struggle on second, third chances. And if you have the patience and you do get them to open up, a lot of times their 5 holes are, you can find that really quite easily. Now, I say that not being a goal scorer, but just what opens up when they move. And there's a lot of, that's the thing as a goaltender. You always, when you watch a shootout, the goaltender doesn't want to make the first move. Well, why is that? Because as soon as he moves, he's opening up something. He's creating an opportunity for the shooter. And I think that's something that you're trying to do when you face a bigger goaltender is either put it in a situation where he cannot recover, get him moving east to west, or the big thing is too is I don't care how big the goaltender is if he can't see it, he can't stop it. And that's traffic and making his life hard around the paint.
How much do you love that chess match between shooter and goaltender from your side as a goaltender?
Well, I mean, I think it's especially I love the shootout. I mean, I think it's again breakaways too. I just think it's as a goaltender you thrive off that. I mean, that's such a momentum swing where you can and sometimes it happens early in the game where you can just create so much momentum. And I tell you what, I don't know if there's a better feeling as a goaltender when you make that type of save. And I don't know why it is, but usually when you make that save, you're pretty lights out the rest of the night because whether it's mojo or whatever you feel, and a lot of goaltending is between the ears. But I would say a lot of times when you see a goaltender make a really big save, either backdoor or on a breakaway early in a game, they're going to play very well.
So since that St. Cloud game at home that you referenced earlier, where the Bobcats lost by 5, you played 5 games since then. Only 2-2-1 in those 5 games. But aside from the first period in North Iowa that first night, 4 2/3 games, this Bobcat team has been the better team unquestionably in those games. What do we not see on the box score that you like from your team these last 5?
Well, I think just some of the mistakes. I mean, that's where, we get caught in Minot. We have a 2-on-1 on our PK, and, Pitts goes to the net, falls down, and Rels tries to go to him. We get beat up the ice, and I feel like our PK's been a lot better off of structure in zone. But to me, that's, one of the things. So Pitts falls down, then comes for a change. We cannot have those where both guys get trapped and, basically create an odd man rush. That game, that goal against was pretty much 5-on-2. And, to me, those are the mistakes. Obviously, our power play, we can't make that mistake. That's a crucial time. We battle so hard in Aberdeen to tie it up. We played so well in the second and the third, and we get ourselves back in that hockey game, and then we have that kind of mistake. And to me, those are the ones that's the reason why we're not getting points in those games. Those mistakes where, I told our guys after, and going into Saturday, I don't care if Rouse gets that puck out front on that play and quite frankly dumps it in the corner. Our goal is to not get scored on. Yes, we're going to score shorthanded goals, and we've scored quite a few. But that's a bonus. Our objective is to make sure they have to come 200 feet in our structure and beat us, not give them freebies. And, to me, that was a big one. 5-on-3, nothing you can do about it. It's a great shot. But, again, the power play has to execute, especially in, you throughout that game, you have a couple chances. Maybe they didn't go our way. We had a couple good looks. But in that spotlight, at that time of the game, it's a difference of getting points or not.
How much harder has this team been playing in these 5 games?
Yeah, that's the part that's nice. I feel like our battles, our effort, it's trending in the right direction. I'll tell you before, I was almost you almost get that feeling of last year where we just didn't compete. We just were so in and out. We were good for five minutes. We were good for a period. And this league it's just too good. You can't have success on any given night if you play that way. So I just like that we're starting to play the game the right way. I feel like the results will come, and they might, it might take a little bit of time. Hopefully it comes sooner than later. But I think if we do that, we're going to start to string wins together, and not one here, one there. I feel like we're going to have good, solid weekends where we can get 4 points on a weekend.
How hard can it be to convince guys who are not necessarily big and strong, not big, tall, and wider guys like teams like St. Cloud might have, to play hard, play physical, and lay the body?
Well, I think it's other things too. You're going to talk to a guy on our show today that's undersized. But to me, when I look at his play, I look at him as what are his best attributes, and it's his feet. Okay, so you can win a lot of races with your feet, and then you can win a lot of stick battles. I'm not expecting Julian to go around the rink and try and, finish checks on a guy that's 6'4". Yes, he's got to be engaged, and that's, to me, the smaller guys. I feel like when we've played really well, it's him, it's Rels playing to his size. It's our guys that are, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", playing to their size, but also our smaller guys winning races, winning battles, being hard on their sticks. And that's the reason why you have success. Because I'll tell you what, when you have success at this level, it's only going to translate at the next level and the next level, especially in college hockey, if you can win those 50-50, puck battles and find a way to be hard on your stick. Because once you get to that level, it's all men. Your bodies have matured, guys are strong, all they do is work out. But again, there are undersized guys, and like I said, Julian will be one of those guys. But if he can use his tools and use his feet and win battles and win races, he's got a good brain, got a good stick, have a lot of success.
Evan Hunter's one of those guys. He's
Correct.
5'9", 166. He's a lot of like my body type, only stronger, I'm sure, and he scores more goals than I do. But how can a guy like him at Bemidji State, a very good D1 school, have success that, say, a 6'4", 210 guy would have?
Well, it's to me, it's the same thing. Just like I went over. He's got to be dogmatic on pucks, and he's got to, those guys can beat you with their speed, and I think the game has changed. You look at guys that have had success in the National Hockey League, Johnny Gaudreau, the list goes on and on and on. Probably the last 10 years, 10 years prior to that, I don't think there's a chance they ever play at that level. You got away with impeding. You got away with hacking and whacking. I mean, the game has changed so much, and that's why I think, when you look at a youth program and you look at kids that come to our program, there's one thing. There's one thing that this game is revolved around now, and that's your feet. If you can't skate, you are not going to be able to have success at any kind of level, whether it's high school or beyond.
Talking Bobcats with head coach Layne Sedevie. Aberdeen Wings are coming up. A team you don't like, obviously. Bobcats don't like the Wings, if you can't tell. 6 times they're going to play in Bismarck. We've already played 3 in their building. A tough 4-2 loss back on Saturday. I couldn't help but look after the Wings scored their first goal. You were giving Scott Langer the riot act between the benches, and that's for good reason. I mean, Scott, as he's used to doing, probably told his guys, hey, we're going to push the envelope and see what the referee will call. Referees didn't call anything in the first period. First power play went to the Wings, in fact. First penalty went to the Bobcats, and the Wings scored on the power play. The Wings have a reputation for playing chippy to the point where it could be called dirty by opposing teams. Do you tell your guys to look out for that?
No, I don't think so. I just wish it would have been called better. I thought it was one of the first nights where I felt like we were I just felt like he really struggled, the official. And, I think it's an MO of the way he wants his guys to play. And I just thought there was, Newey gets knee to knee, and they get a 3. Now, again, you get a 3-on-1 out of which he said was a clean hit. And I guess I don't understand how, you can trip a guy and go knee to knee where it's, let alone he even thought it was a hit. I mean, it's not. But I think that's the big thing. I was frustrated after the first with how it was called. But again, I think I don't know. I would like to think that over my coaching career, I've just kind of, you can't change the refs as much as I used to yell at them and go after them. I try not to anymore. It doesn't do you any good. And they're going to call the game. We get the officials that are assigned to us, and at the end of the day, they're trying to do the best job they can do. So some nights are good, some nights are bad, and that's just one thing I've realized after doing this so long.
Is there an art to it that guys like? I hear it talked about by some of the parents. Corey Millen gets on the officials every night. The officials hate working St. Cloud games, I'm sure, if you ask him, and that's because he'll argue everything, even a routine icing call. Do you feel like coaches could get on referees to the point where they're going to be scared of calling penalties?
I do. I think you can really influence a game. I think there's a lot of coaches in this league that are probably borderline of probably being respectful about it. I was one of those guys back in the day, and like I said, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where I'd rather coach, I'd rather be on the bench, and quite frankly, if I can tell a guy when he comes back to the bench, hey, I'd rather see you do this here, worry about coaching my guys than screaming at an official. I'm probably doing my job and at least making my guys. Hopefully, we're getting better. So that's just kind of I would say one of the ways that I've changed. I've tried to be better on officials and work with them that way, because at the end of the day, a lot of the officials we get are new officials, and they haven't worked a lot, and they're trying to develop. And it's no different than our players. I mean, a lot of our really good officials, they don't stay in our league. They're moving on, and they want a career at this, and you can't blame them. So I think that's the reason why you see a lot of turnover with officials, and let's face it, we get a lot of guys that maybe this doesn't work out as their career, but again, they're all learning, and some are just better than others.
How much of the onus is on you as a coach to not drive officials away by being abusive?
Well, I mean, I think it's probably everything. I think it's whether it's conduct on your bench and controlling your bench to, how you handle the officials as well. I mean, I know for quite some time there's a lot of officials that didn't want to ref my games, and I look back at it now and I just think I'm just an idiot. It's just one of those things where obviously I'm an emotional guy, and I would get wrapped up so much into it that. I think there's obviously a time and a place where you have to stick up for your players. And those are certain times where I think in junior hockey you can still get kicked out or whatever. But I mean, that's changed too. I mean, like we talked about the game changing. I mean, it's changed too. I mean, the antics that you saw. I think you do them now to a ref, and I guess I shouldn't say that. I've never body slammed a ref, and only gotten 3 games for it. But I don't want to go there, and I don't know. It's one of those things where I think you got to have conduct on your bench, and you got to respect the officials, and got to make your players better. That's why you play the games, and to me, that's really where we get better. We can practice all we want, but the mistakes that we make, those are crucial times where you can teach your players, maybe, what did you see? What didn't you see? And I guess if you're screaming at the ref, you're not doing your job as a coach.
All right, Layne Sedevie, thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, back in 2 minutes on the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Welcome back to the Bobcats Coaches Show, hearing from players now. Julian Beaumont joining us on the Coaches Show. How are you?
Good.
All right, well, Bobcats and Wings are coming up, and you've had a good start to your season so far. 21 games, 7 goals, 15 points. We first talked to you after Showcase when you played 2 games, had your first goal in your first game. Now you've gotten a couple months in. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Having a lot of fun. Getting better every week. I feel like it's been really fun so far. Enjoying it.
Now that you've played, in Bismarck, you've played the divisional games. You're a part of a full week now with this team, a full couple months. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's a very fun place to play. I mean, home games are pretty crazy with the crowd, which is always awesome. Great group that I'm playing with. Love playing with them. Love all the boys. Good locker room. So yeah, it's been fun.
Have you gotten the full Layne experience yet?
I don't know. I feel like I have. He's a great coach. Very passionate, which you can see sometimes. But I don't know. I've heard some other stories, so who knows?
Do you wish he'd yell at the refs more or throw sticks more or what?
I have seen that video of him throwing sticks. Yeah, I didn't know that was him until I came here. But no, don't really want to see him throw sticks. I don't know how good that would be for our team. But yeah.
So you're from Texas, where it's 48 degrees right now. By the way, it's probably chilly as heck there.
Oh, yeah.
So 2 feet of snow hit us a few weeks ago. Even though your whole family's Canadian,
Yeah.
you're Canadian-American, you've been in Texas your whole life, right?
Yeah.
So 2 feet of snow come down. Your parents make it in town for those games.
Yep.
But how did you do with probably the biggest snow of your life?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely weird. I couldn't get my car out of my driveway for the first probably 2 days. Yeah, and then I started driving. It's like this was a little weird, sliding everywhere, but I mean, yeah, it was a lot of snow. It's definitely weird. Yeah, probably as you said, is my biggest snow yet, but yeah, the cold was kind of what bothered me the most. I do like snow, but just the cold, no, that's not where it's at.
So when your parents came here to Bismarck, flew in and saw the snow, they were like, yeah, it's a normal day in Canada.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, my dad's from northern Alberta, so he says this is very typical for when he was a kid. So yeah, it was no problem for them.
Cold weather for you pretty much all season. Coming from Texas, sure you played a year in Ohio last year,
Yeah.
but is this something that makes you think, why did I even come here?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, waking up in the morning and see it in the teens or in the single digits, hoping I never see the negatives, but I think that's coming up this week. So yeah, I'm like, this is crazy.
Well, so far, as I said, 7 goals, 15 points for you. You played with a whole bunch of guys so far this year. As far as your game's concerned, where have you gotten better? What do you like so far?
Yeah, I would definitely say that I've gotten better. I'm trying to be more physical. I heard Coach Layne up here talking how, I'm an undersized player, but he still expects me to, go into the corners, win battles. So I've been focusing on that, make sure when I get into the corners, I lay the body a little bit and then win those puck battles. So I definitely think I've gotten better at that. So yeah.
Do you think you're undersized?
Oh yeah, I know I am. 5'7", yeah, everyone, as you said, in Aberdeen and St. Cloud, their whole roster, especially on the defensive side, is like 6 foot and taller. So yeah.
Yeah. There's a 6'6", 220 guy on Aberdeen, for
Yeah.
example. So when you go into the corner against those guys, sure, you've got a good stick and everything and good feet, but how do you win battles against them?
It's all about, I feel like, positioning your body. I mean, yeah, he's taller, he's got a longer stick, but if you can put your body in a position to shield away his stick and get that puck, that helps. And also, when the guy sees a 5'7" guy coming in the corner, he doesn't really expect them to give him a hit. So maybe if you just surprise him with a little hit, catch him off guard, and then shield the puck and then make a play. So I feel like that's what I try to do.
Is this the first time you've been told to hit more or actually play hard?
I would say definitely. I mean, I've been told to be more aggressive and stuff, especially because my size. But definitely now with, in this league, you can't play soft or you're gonna get punished for it. You won't get your ice time or you'll get killed out on the ice. But yeah, so I would definitely say this definitely the first kind of year where I've been told to be more physical.
Have you found that this team has played more physical in the last couple games and they've had success doing it?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like when we're at their best, it's when we have our feet moving, when we're laying the body in the corners and winning our puck battles. So, and I mean, even though we've lost the last couple games, I feel like we've done a lot better on that. We've won more puck battles and we got more scoring chances from it.
Do you think you're more of a shooter or a playmaker?
I feel like I'm more of a playmaker right now. It's funny. Pitts always tells me that I'm able to. I have like a heartbeat sensor. I'd see him on the ice and I'm able to move the puck to him. But yeah, I'd definitely say I'm turning more into a playmaker than a shooter because back in my early years, I was probably more of a shooter than a playmaker.
Yeah, Pitts was saying he loves playing on your line. They've only played one game together, right? Just last game.
We played a couple before.
Okay.
In St. Cloud, I feel like we played him. But yeah, I like playing with him. He's a great shot. He kind of sends that fear tactic into the other team because he's so physical and has no fear in him and goes everywhere. So yeah, I love playing with him.
So last year you think, all right, Pitt scored like 15 goals last year. You think, all right, it's just, at the front of the net, getting tips, maybe a few, muffing some lob shots over the goalie on rebounds. He's had a couple of really nice shots recently.
Yes,
Where'd that
yes.
come from?
I don't know. I guess he's been practicing that shot because I know in that Aberdeen game, our first goal that was a really nice shot there. So yeah.
When you have him, he's not even 6 feet tall, not even 200 pounds. When he's doing what he does that inspire you guys to play like him?
I would definitely say, yeah. It gets the energy on the bench when we see him do that, run around, picks up the boys definitely when he's bringing that physicality into his game.
So you got Aberdeen coming up. You've played them 3 times already. Just played them last Saturday. Played better, didn't win. How do you turn that around?
I feel like we need to keep our intensity up. keep winning battles, be in the game every shift, don't lose a shift. And I feel like we need to be more consistent on our playmaking. I feel like what hurt us in that Aberdeen game was we made some crucial turnovers that ended up in the back of the net. So I feel like if we can fix that up, we'll be perfectly fine.
All right, getting ready for a Bismarck winter. Just one more thing. Southern food, Southern hospitality, whatever you call it, different here. Where do you go in Bismarck to get your fix?
Oh, definitely Poncheros or Qdoba. I love my Tex-Mex, my burritos. So that definitely fills me with that.
Is that like authentic? Is that anything like you get in Texas?
It's not too authentic, but I mean it's close enough. Yeah. There's some great Tex-Mex shops, restaurants in around Dallas. So won't live up to those, but yeah.
So when you go home for Christmas break in a couple weeks, where are you going?
We have this little Mexican restaurant. Forgot what its name is, but sells these awesome tacos, and I'm a big taco guy, so probably going there.
It's always those small places with
Yeah.
like nothing on the walls, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Julian Beaumont, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, goaltender Hunter Garvey joins us on the Bobcats Coaches Show. And welcome back to the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270, getting set for the Bobcats and Aberdeen Wings with goaltender Hunter Garvey. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Well, fans might know your name from last year. Your name was on our airwaves a lot as the North Iowa Bulls goaltender. You beat the Bobcats 3 times last year. Go to El Paso in a trade over the offseason. Come to Bismarck about a month ago in a trade back to the Central Division. You've been a Bobcat goalie for about a month now. How are you doing after all this time in so many different cities?
Well, I feel like throughout my life I've been on a lot of different teams, so you get a little bit used to it over time. But obviously, there's still a learning curve. Seeing new cities and everything. I've been on completely different ends of the spectrum this year, last year. I mean, I went from El Paso, which is a town of 700,000, to Bismarck, which is 60,000, which is a much smaller town. I feel like it's a pretty good atmosphere, especially at the games. We get a lot of fans, so that's really nice. But I don't know, it's just something you get used to over time, and I like to spend a lot of time at the house anyway, so it's not as big of a deal how the town is.
So does settling in not take a while for you?
No, it doesn't take too long, at least in the town-wise. I still have to learn the team over time, but getting really comfortable with them, so that's nice.
So you came to the Bobcats when we were in St. Cloud last month, and you joined us Thursday night pretty much. You fly into Minnesota, go to St. Cloud, join us when the bus pulls up on Friday night. What was the transition like joining our team as, we're skating on the ice for a game?
Hectic, very, very hectic. I mean, I hadn't really practiced all week. I got a call Thursday morning. I got traded, and then I hopped on a plane that afternoon, flew up to Minnesota, roll off. His dad was nice enough to pick me up and house me for the night and then take me up to the games the next day. And he actually was able to coordinate a skate for me that Friday morning, so I was able to get on the ice prior to our games that weekend. But it was definitely hectic trying to figure out everything we were doing. And also, props to my parents for paying for the ticket that quick and setting everything up.
Yeah, I mean, as you've come to know, Rick Roloffs is a true gentleman. So you come from North Iowa to Bismarck. You've played at the VFW quite a few times, now as a Bobcat, but also as a Bull. When you came to Bismarck as a Bull last year, did you think, wow, I'd love to play here? Like, it's a cool rink and everything?
To be honest, I didn't think of it like that. I just thought I hate playing here.
Oh, sure.
Because every time when the Bismarck was my least favorite team to play last year because it was always the toughest game. And obviously fans are really good. It makes a great atmosphere at the rink. I don't know if it's because of the structure of the rink or what, but it gets really loud in there, and so that makes a great atmosphere to play in. So I'm definitely enjoying it this year. But last year, I mean, it wasn't nice to play in, but I guess during the game you do tune it out a little bit, especially if you're playing an away game.
Well, you've had plenty of interactions with, say, Adam Patilla last year, as Pitts has done that to every goaltender he's faced. Having him on the Bobcats last year, your opponent and rival, now on your team this year, is it good to, be able to meet some of the guys you went up against last year?
Yeah, I mean, it is nice meeting all the people I met. I mean, I actually didn't mind Pitts too much. I don't know, Michaels, that was probably my least favorite guy. But Pitts right away, I mean, he reached out to me and it was really nice, and getting to meet all the guys, and they're really nice. They welcomed me to the team really quick, and so it made the transition super easy.
You're from San Diego, California. Thatcher Demko's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Have you met him?
I practiced with him, but I've never actually talked to him really. I did an entire practice with him, and I never even spoke a word to him. But I hear he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, and great goalie too, obviously. So being from San Diego, you've got to pretty much leave the area to go to hockey, right, or play hockey.
Yeah, I mean, once you reach a certain age, it is more advantageous to leave California, definitely. I mean, I played all throughout California. I played my last 3 years there in San Diego with the Goals organization. So I was able to find – we were playing AAA hockey, and we weren't that bad, but obviously the competitiveness isn't as great as, I don't know, say the Midwest or the East or something, where hockey's more prevalent. So after leaving California, I moved out to Detroit, and then from then on I was living away from home. And from a young age, I was 15, but thankfully it never bothered me too much. I don't know. So,
what do you miss about home?
Family, warm weather, food, and that's about it.
Yeah, how are you handling this 8-degree day right now?
I mean, I've lived in the cold for quite a while after living away from home, so it's not too bad. I mean, you just suffer through the walk from the car into the rink or wherever you're going, but you dress warm and it's not too bad.
Layne has told me you're very superstitious.
Very superstitious.
If you want to share anything, what do you do to get yourself in the zone?
There's so much.
Is it a whole routine? You have to go
There
1,
is
2,
a
3, 4, 5.
whole routine. My day's the exact same. I try to make it at least the exact same. I mean, in between periods, I do the exact same thing. I'm working on tracking in between periods. So basically, from when I not when I wake up, but basically once I get back from morning skate up until after the game, I have things that I'm doing in preparation for the game, trying to get ready.
Is it just nobody talk to me, I'm in the zone right now?
I do not like to. Well, okay, that's actually something I've been working on this year. Maybe loosening it up a little bit. But I used to not like to talk at all during, warm up, like when I'm getting ready for the game / during the game, because I felt it kind of just pulled me away from the game. But I think this year what I've been really working on is loosening up a little bit, and I think it's been helping. Still in the early phases, I guess, because I only started working on it right before I came here. But I think it's gonna be a great thing for the long run, because it's hard to focus that long. And so when I can talk to people and loosen up a little bit, it's gonna help my focus when I really need it, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever tried not doing that and seeing how you play?
Sorta. I guess there's days where I'm less focused, and I mean, I guess it's not fair to say that, like, to test it on or to count those days, because I'm not, like, if I'm not as focused, then it's probably just because there's like reasons, like maybe I'm more tired or something. And so obviously I might perform not as well those days, but I think that if I just didn't focus at all, then it probably would be bad.
One last thing. What's your favorite play to make as a goaltender?
In what way? Like save-wise or
Yeah, save
puck
wise.
playing?
Maybe you play the puck. Like aside from scoring a goal into an empty net, which could happen. What's your favorite play to make as a goaltender?
My favorite play to make. Very seldom do I get to use it, so I'm gonna say my favorite play is a 2-pad stack.
I thought you were gonna say that. I love
It's either that or the split save, but I use the split save a lot. I never get to use the 2-pad stack. So
When was your last 2-pad stack?
the last one I can remember, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna say my first year of juniors, but maybe I probably did one last year and I just don't remember.
All right. Hunter Garvey, thanks so much.
Yep.
All right. Hunter Laslo, we go from Hunter to Hunter. Joins the show in a moment. This is Bobcats Coach's Show on Super Talk 1270. Wrapping up the Bobcats Coach's Show on Super Talk 1270. Hunter Laslo joining us. How are you?
Good, Corey. How are you?
Not too bad. I wanted to shout out our great bus driver, Brad Hellman, by the way. I don't know if you saw this outside the Tappan Tavern, but I just got my car back today from getting a full ceramic coat to get it ready for the winter and a full window tint. Brad Hellman at Perfection Plus. Thank you, sir, and your staff there. The best bus driver in the North American League is in Bismarck, North Dakota, and I think you would agree.
I would have to agree completely. He's obviously gets us to point A to point B safely every time we're on the road, but he's also just an awesome person, super kind and thoughtful guy, and always willing to help. And obviously the guys love him too, and he loves being around the team, and we're grateful to have him for a very important role, and I'd say a pretty underrated role in an organization is. When you spend a lot of your time, more than half the year on the road, it's nice to know that the guy behind the wheel is someone that you trust, and that's just a good guy who you can hang out with on a weekend. So, yeah, very grateful for Brad.
Yeah, he will take care of you and your car at Perfection Plus. So, Bobcats coming off a 3-game week. Legs have got to be rested by this point. 1-2 on the week, but, man, the last 5 games, this team has played the 2 in North Iowa, aside from that first period on Friday, and the 3 here over the weekend. the Bobcats have been decisively the better team.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably deserved points in all of our games last weekend. I thought me and Layne were both really happy with the effort that we gave for those 3 games in 4 days. Obviously, a tough week with Thanksgiving thrown in there, and then obviously the last one on Saturday with Aberdeen having not played a game all week, and that being our third on the weekend. But I was really happy with our group's effort. I just thought we made a couple costly mistakes, and even with that, obviously the shorthanded goal hurts to give up on your power play, but we had chances. We outchanced, I would say, in all 3 games that week, 2-1 for sure. Just weren't able to find it on Friday and Saturday when we really needed it, but didn't have any quit in our group, which was good to see. So even though we didn't get those points that we needed, it's still promising to know that we gave the effort that we need. The pucks will fall for us if we keep playing like the way we did in the last 3 to 4 games, and we'll be able to start gaining some points. And this is actually a massive weekend in terms of where we sit in the standings. If we can get 4 points this weekend, we'll be in a different spot.
It's amazing. I talked to Layne after the Bobcats win a game by 2-3 goals. He's like, we played terribly. But after the Aberdeen and Minot games on the road, he's like, yeah, we played well, should have gotten points. Is this a junction in the season where, sure, the weekend is big, obviously. You can tie the Wings for 4th, maybe 3rd place with 2 wins and giving them no points. But do you just not change anything after the weekend you had?
Yeah, I mean, I think we obviously – we're not complacent. I think we can still improve. The big thing that's hurt us in the beginning of the season here has just been our efforts been very up and down, where we get a good period and then we take a period off. And I thought this past weekend we did a really good job of staying consistent. We're going to make mistakes, every team does, but we're really happy with the compete level and the effort that we gave for 60 minutes each night. So definitely something that we want to continue to grow at is limiting our mistakes, especially in the latter stages of a game and in important situations, like never giving up a shorthanded goal on our power play. Our power play has done really well this year, and our penalty kill has been getting a lot better in the last couple weeks. And so to give up a shorthanded one hurts. So those are mistakes that we need to clip out of our system, because if we keep playing with the compete level and the execution that we have in the last 2 weeks, we're a dangerous team out there, and we have all 4 lines that can be a threat to score, which is good to see. And obviously when you can rely on your power play every night to be good and get one for you, that's obviously a big bonus. So there's definitely some things that we still need to clean up coming out of that weekend, but overall happy with the effort, and if we can bring that same consistency every game, we'll have a shot to get points in every game.
I feel like coaches now around the division know that this team will not give you much time or space. They will be up in your face all 3 zones. How much do you pride yourselves on being that team?
Yeah, I mean, we pride ourselves on being a hardworking team, never getting outworked is the first thing, and then we're aggressive. We like to force teams to make turnovers and give us transition plays, just like some teams like to do to us as well. But yeah, we don't like to sit back and be passive. We're an aggressive team. We like to get in our forecheck, try to anticipate and jump plays to cause turnovers, which would lead to some offensive chances for us. But yeah, we're not a team that sits back. We want to get in your face. We want to be a little more physical. We've challenged our guys to get the hits up in the hit category, and obviously when a D goes back for a puck, to be scared when you have an Adam Patilla or an Atchison or any guy going back on you, make that D second think where he's going with it, and hopefully throw it away right onto our stick, which can lead to a chance for us to put it in the back of their net.
All right, there we go. Laz, thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, that's all for the Bobcats
Sea-Dog.
Coaches Show. Thanks, Laz. Bobcats and Aberdeen Wings, Friday and Saturday, 7:15 puck drops. BismarckBobcats.com for tickets, or call us at 222-3300 during office hours tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, too. It'll be a sold-out crowd, we think, so get your tickets now before it is too late at BismarckBobcats.com. And again, the radio home of the Bismarck Bobcats, showing both games this Friday and Saturday when the Bobcats take on the Wings at 7:15 is Super Talk 1270. The Bobcats Coaches Show is back every Wednesday night at 5 o'clock from the Tap-In Tavern, and right here on the radio home of the Bobcats, Super Talk 1270.